Welcome to the Cedar Valley Podcast. Consider this your inside look at what makes our region special. We talk about everyday life here in the Cedar Valley, the voices speaking up for progress, the ideas shaping our future, and the partners investing in our success. We believe community is built one conversation at a time, and we've saved you a seat at the table.
Welcome to our coffee talk edition of the Cedar Valley Podcast. Today, we're just going to have a conversation, a little inside look behind the scenes of the work that's happening at Grow Cedar Valley. We're engaged in these conversations every day. We're talking about the work we're doing every day, and we want to give those that are listening an opportunity just to learn a little bit more about what we're doing. So today, I've got Steph Detweiler. Steph is our Director of Talent and Workforce. Steph, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I am, like Katie said, the Director of Talent and Workforce at Grow Cedar Valley. I have been here for about 3.5 years, I think now. My work is mainly trying to understand what our businesses need in order to attract and retain talent here in the Cedar Valley. That's probably the most basic way to put it. We develop a lot of programs and initiatives based on feedback we receive from businesses. And one of the most important things we have done this past year is a population study.
Well, let's talk about the population study. So this was a big process that started long before the event that we had. But let's talk a little bit about what led up to that. And then I want to focus on where we go in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, it was about 2 years ago, probably, where we were in our planning process. And one of the goals for our strategic plan was how do we grow and diversify the population in the Cedar Valley? So I think when we were in that meeting and really thinking about, how can we go about doing this, we also recognized that we needed to kind of understand the data and what we were working with a little bit more. And that led me to look into what is our population? Like, are we growing? Are we declining? And through our data source that we subscribe to, we saw that our population's projected to decline in the next 5 years. And then I was looking at the other metros in Iowa, and they're all projected to grow, with the exception of the Quad Cities, was also projected to decline. So I think, in conversation with you and Lisa, we really thought, hey, maybe we need an outside party, a consulting firm, to really help us figure out how do we combat this? How do we change that trajectory? So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, to add on to that, we saw ourselves as a good organization to do that work, not to say that we're going to do everything moving forward, but as a regional entity that's thinking big picture about our community, the communities that are a part of the Valley, it just felt like a natural thing for us to take on. Absolutely. And fortunately, our board was really supportive of that too.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody was supportive. So
fast forward, big process, lots of community engagement, got us to the event in January. Just at a high level, let's talk a little bit about that day. What was your impression of our population study reveal event?
Honestly, I feel like time stopped. It was kind of just such an emotional day because this work had been happening for almost a year, and our community was so excited to see the results of it. That was the coolest part, is we had so many people show up. There was 500 people in attendance. They were engaged the whole time. We heard such positive feedback about the plan in general, but also how well the event went, and just felt really proud of all the work that's been done.
Yeah, it was a great day. And I think even immediately after the event, we got a ton of feedback. We had a lot of organizations that were interested in learning more, figure out how they could plug in.
Yep.
You've given a few presentations,
yes.
So have I.
Yes.
What have you heard from people that you've presented to kind of beyond the event about the information that we've shared? Anything that's been surprising, anything that's been affirming of the work?
I would say, I don't think anything's surprising, but I think the most common thing that people are excited about is the first big bet, which is One Vision, One Valley. I guess maybe I was a little surprised that would be the thing that people pointed to or really hung on to the most, but I think it's just affirming because we know how important it is, and that was such an important thing that came out of the study that other people see it too, and I think it's more questioning okay, well, how are we actually going to do this, you know? And that was probably the most questions I've gotten from the presentation is, what does that actually look like in practice?
Yeah, I would agree. I think that is a lot of the feedback. So let's just back up a little bit. For those that aren't as familiar, our population study revealed 3 big bets.
Yes.
The second big bet is innovation that competes.
Yep.
And the third is careers worth staying for.
Yes.
So it all comes back to regional identity, innovation in our targeted industries, and then making sure that we have not just jobs, but careers for our working population, right?
Yes.
So it's not just about that one job, but how can we create opportunities where people can see a future here in the Cedar Valley,
Absolutely.
right?
And high paying jobs that people want to have. Yes.
Super good point.
Yep.
Yes. So I would agree that feedback has been interesting. What I've heard a lot is the regional identity piece is really, really exciting. People want to get behind it, but how do we do that?
Yes.
And so I think that's a good segue into, so what does come next? We've got strategic planning that really going to look at how do we take what are ultimately 94 different strategies that came out of this population study and put them into a plan where we can begin to work these strategies over the course of the next several years.
Yep.
Is there a particular strategy or a particular part of the plan that you are especially interested or excited about?
I think the innovation that competes, I'm really interested in, because I think I've often wondered it myself being in this role for the last few years, like it's kind of the chicken or the egg thing, like which comes first? Do we need to be attracting the businesses that are having some of these high paying jobs, or do we need to start with the workforce and having them here? And I think that what this is telling me is that we really need to make sure, we're thinking about different industries or different kinds of businesses to attract here to get people that want to stay here. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I'm definitely excited about the first big bet too, because I think like living here most of my life, I just realize how important that is for us to act as one community. So I'm excited about that.
I agree. And I think one of the things that has come up a lot in our presentations, kind of a question about the regional identity piece is, are you going to paint us all with one broad brush? And that is absolutely not the intention,
No.
right? It is looking at the communities that comprise the Cedar Valley and really focusing on how we amplify the assets that we have, right? We've got a great product to market. And so this is an opportunity to put that into action. I'm excited about that.
Me too.
I'm excited about the innovation piece too. I think it is definitely going to inform our work within Grow Cedar Valley in terms of the types of businesses that we're going to recruit, that we're going to actively pursue. We've done a great job in the last several years of building a really diverse economy in terms of our business makeup. And I think this is just going to take us to that next step, making sure that we are thinking about not only the diversity of businesses, but also what are the wages look like that these companies have? What are the opportunities that they're going to have for our working population? I think that's exciting.
Absolutely. I agree.
So we'll do some strategic planning. We'll get all of this outlined, and then we'll start the work.
Yes.
I think the population study event was really exciting and motivating to see so many people that want to see this change happen.
Yeah.
But I joked that day, and now the real work begins.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think it's exciting. I think we're ready for it. Do you have any final thoughts that you want to share just on the work that you're doing in population study or talent and workforce in general?
I just think that it's been really cool to see how engaged our community is. I mean, even just going to different meetings or events throughout the community since then, they all refer to the Count Me In population study. And not even doing it because they know that I'm in the room or that Grow Cedar Valley is in the room. It's like truly that they're bought in, that they've been a part of it. And I think that is a testament to what we did with the population study too, is that we brought in the steering committee early. We brought in tons of community members throughout the process, and we're really seeing it pay off with them being advocates for the work now. So I appreciate all of that. I appreciate all the people that are supportive of what we've done.
Yeah. It really is a plan that is by the community and for the community.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Steph, thanks for joining me for our coffee talk. This
Absolutely.
was fun.
It was fun. Yes.
Thanks for joining the conversation. More stories, updates, and voices from across the Cedar Valley coming your way. Stay tuned for the next episode.